if you weren't aware, just forewarning, we're doing this because we love racing and stuff, but also trying to get a little channel up and running. So, thank you
Oh yeah,
big
I'm
time
in the
for
same boat.
coming and talk to us.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm in the same boat, so I respect it. And I hopefully some of this. I mean, the video I posted of all the incidents stuff's got like 600 views and all this other
Hell yeah.
stuff. So, and I'm just little old me. So maybe it'll do the same for you guys. That all this split 22 drama will get people looking at your content. So got to seize the day.
God, I
Yeah.
have so many questions about this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go
Are
for it
we
then.
And
are we recording
we are
yet? Or
live, yes sir. Go right ahead.
okay, so let's get all the intro out of the way. What's up? Clear Enough Podcast. We have a special guest today. Uh, my name is Jeff. He come here from what's the name of the racing team?
Oh, Piovra Motorsport. It's just Italian for Kraken.
Oh, okay, awesome.
That's easy to remember. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. And just so we're like fresh on it, obviously we're here to review the incident at the 24-hour spa with this guy completely trolling an entire race. It's gotten a lot of like headway in the iRacing community that this guy really like did some terrible stuff in a 24-hour race. To some it may not seem like a big deal, but for us fanatics it is. So we're trying to get it
Yeah,
out
for
there.
sure.
And it's especially a big deal to you because you were actually part of the race. We're trying to get it from a eyewitness perspective of just how big of a shit show was it, and like was it instant? How did all this occur? Like I know you messaged me and said you think you got like the triggering point for it. So just anything you want to just get off your chest about it, let it ride.
Yeah, I can tell you more of what I was saying when we were DMing. I wanted to get the clips for you guys, and then as I started reviewing everything, I was like, no way, I'm stitching this all together and putting it on YouTube because obviously the basic Ollie video, he was given a replay that started after lap 90, which was when they first pitted for like 7 minutes of damage. So I went and watched back from the start, and I remember my teammate at the start, he's like, oh my God, there's crash on the formation lap. And we didn't think anything of it, but he was one of the cars in that. Now, it wasn't his fault. It looked like 2-3 cars ahead. You can kind of see it in the video I put up, and I think there's one other, the Kebab guys who put up like an edit of their stream. You can kind of see, just guys are too close to each other being antsy in the midfield at the start. And we'd never been so happy to have such a terrible quality that we were behind all this stuff.
Yeah, he kind of gets brake checked by the car in front of him.
Yeah, he does. And then it just kind of, accordion or, if you watch Formula One, Martin Brundle's always saying the concertina effect, it just all sucks into one another. And then the car behind him rear ends
Oh
him.
God, yeah.
So you watch his car and you'll notice he gets front end, rear end damage. So I'm assuming his aero is a little screwed up. But you watch
Yeah.
the first 5 laps and he's kind of, I mean, cold laps at Spa are lame, but he's kind of oversteering up Eau Rouge, and he's kind of oversteering down Rivage and down Puhan, and but the car control to correct it is really good, and so okay, he keeps going, and then you could argue he's holding up 6 or 7 cars behind, but really in the beginning of the race, it's just single file racing, so he goes on like 5, 6, 7 laps, but then he loses it again. And I think that was a legitimate mistake. And so then the crash out is on. And so when they come out of the pits again, then it's like, it's not so obvious to begin with, but he's definitely looking for a couple of different cars that were kind of near him during that race start. And a couple of them weren't even really involved with anything. But obviously, they, in their head, as they started crashing out, my opinion anyway, is that they kind of made some enemies, were like, oh, we don't like these guys. But it was still kind of just them making a lot of mistakes until, like Ollie had said, obviously something happens lap 90. And then you go there, and that's when all 3 of the drivers just start going crazy with, coming out and doing everything that's already been shown all over the place. And from my perspective, I had, I think, 34 of those laps. One of my teammates had 50 of them, and another of my teammates had like 25 of them from the juicy stuff. And whichever
Yeah.
one of us was in the car was terrified because the radio's just going insane. even the kebab stream doesn't really do it justice, how much activity. And it was kind of crazy because for those first couple hours, I wouldn't say it was a rough race at all, but there was definitely some door banging here or there between teams, people trying to get their spots early, but it was pretty chill at the same time. And then all of a sudden it was like lobby unification, because I've never seen more chats than I'd seen in that lobby once people started getting a clue to what the 20 car was doing.
Yeah.
And so then maybe 20 minutes goes by, so that'd be about 10 laps. And then the chat really starts to blow up. Somebody finds Zach's
Oh, no.
Instagram, and
Oh
it's
no.
5 minutes later, and Zach's in the car. So I'm not sure who did this. Maybe it's like asked his girlfriend or something, or I guess this would be the one detail that would make his whole "I got hacked" thing believable. Obviously, there's other things that make that not believable.
Yeah.
But literally within 5 minutes of people going, here's his Instagram, and he looks like he drives in real life, that was all shut down, and then their behavior went to the next level. And that's when you started seeing what Ollie covered when it got into the nighttime in the sim, and
Okay.
they're actually wrecking people out at that point. And it was, again, when I was in the cockpit, I mean, my teammates, I could barely hear my tires because my teammates were practically screaming at me because there was nothing going on. We had a rough quali, so we were P48, but we'd worked our way up to like P9 at that point. And so I'm just maintaining in clean air. I was bored. I had nothing going on. So they're just looking up the track at what's going on with everything in chat and watching this, and they're like, dude, maybe don't push. You've got a good pace right now. We're catching, the people that are in our race. We're
The
catching those
queue.
cars. Don't catch the queue because we're gonna
Yeah.
get taken out. And
Yeah.
what's funny is when I went and looked over, in closing on that opening statement here, when I went and looked over all the laps, my buddy, my teammate Cam, came out of the pits to start his stint, and 20 car was doing that half speed thing down the Kemmel straight, but he was obsessed with the 473 car of the other Porsche that, like, that guy's like the star of my video because that car arguably got held up the most. And I think because Cam didn't realize what was going on and he committed to passing both cars, we got
Hmm.
by safely. But that I really think was only because the 20 car was just obsessed with trying to dick with the 473. So we honestly, had there been nobody else on the track, who knows, he didn't do something to us. So we were really, really
Right.
fortunate to evade.
So like when we watched it initially, I had like we know absolutely nothing, or at least I do, about this style of racing. We come from oval racing, NASCAR
Heck
style
yeah,
stuff.
let's
So,
go.
but like I was watching it, and the very first thing I thought was, man, these guys are a lot nicer than oval racers because we would have just took one for the team and dumped that guy a long time ago.
So my coach said the same thing. He's like, "Why didn't somebody? Oh, whoopsies! I didn't brake hard enough into La Source and just send him into the wall." And you can definitely see a couple times, a couple people do try to take him out, but it's in positions where you're going to wreck yourself if you full commit into trying to give him a bump and run or a pit maneuver. And it was like, I think people got so tunnel visioned on their frustration. If you had taken a step back, there's a couple of turns there at Spa where it'd be really easy to just boop him, take no damage, and he is off into the wall.
Right.
Um, but I also wonder, I mean, they took repairs and drive-throughs a couple times. Would they have just have kept coming back out
Yeah, that's a
and
good
coming
point. He's
back
got
out?
all the time in the world. Yeah, that's a good point.
All
I
right.
mean, had they not served that drive-through, who knows, they didn't do that for all 600 laps.
Okay, I got a couple questions just to get us up to speed, kind of what this style of racing goes for.
Oh,
So
yes. Yeah, I heard that.
so in we've run a few NASCAR road course races on the service, and typically we do not full course cautions. What's it called? That where it's just kind of a precaution, like a just lets you know there's a wreck coming up, kind of flag. I forget what it's called.
Oh, just like
Section.
a sector yellow or whatever. I
Yes.
mean, I
Yeah,
speak
yeah,
NASCAR too. I watch everything, so you guys can speak in your native language if you
yeah.
choose.
Well, we're road courses in general is kind of not our thing. So just I'm just trying to get up to speed. So like obviously there's no full course cautions here, right?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
because the funny thing is I think the only reason iRacing doesn't enable full course yellows and things like that is, you're gonna reset off back to the pits and get towed, or you're just gonna limp yourself back in. So there would never be a time that somebody would be dead on the track long enough in the way that they'd have to throw that. But a lot of us do want that for things like this.
Yeah, and well, from what I've seen in a lot of road course racing and iRacing, you'd never do anything but pace. It's
Yeah,
bad enough at short tracks in NASCAR, but like at a road course where there's a lot of uh, big braking zones and it's real easy to get caught up in an accident. Like you probably do nothing but pace in a lot of races. But uh, so no full course cautions. That was kind of the obvious. And the second part is like I'm pretty sure there is a flag to let you know there are lead lap or
yeah,
cars behind you that are a lap ahead of you or more, and you get
yes.
a blue flag with like a yellow cross or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, so you're you asked a great question because this is kind of the point of controversy in endurance racing. Not even just in iRacing. I think I don't drive Assetto Corsa or LMU, but I'm pretty sure they're the same way as how people interpret the blue flags because obviously there's been this big boom of people watching Formula One after watching Drive to Survive, and that show focuses a little too heavily in the early seasons on, blue flag means you have to let the guy by immediately. Well, that's open wheel. In endurance, blue flag is to let you know that that guy behind is a lap up on you or is higher for position, and it's kind of more of a notification and a let him by when it's convenient, or maybe like don't hold him up. It's not a mandate, it's a notification, whereas in formula it's a mandate.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people get confused on that.
Like me.
And but no doubt that that guy had blue flags going off on his overlays the entire time as he's holding up leaders. um
Okay. So
yeah.
that leads me into the next part of this. So like I feel like from watching these clips and everything, I feel like this dude, whoever's driving, definitely the guy that was driving more in the later laps that was in the other guy's video.
Yeah,
I
Zack
felt
Scoular.
like, yeah, I felt like he is not slow except where he's able to hold you guys up and get away with it. So like
Yes,
at entry somewhere, and then he
yes,
purposefully brake checks and then gets his exit speed to where you can't really power out the corner and get beside him or
right.
something like that. Am I right on that?
Oh, you're dead on. It was amazing. So the biggest reason I would say the slam dunk on why he wasn't hacked was because you never see somebody get in and out of the car when he's driving. Um, that's not 100%, but it's the way they describe it. It's kind of the it kind of refutes that. But more specifically, if you watch all of Zach's driving, he actually is a good driver. When he's not dicking around, he's putting in pretty decent lap times for the lobby. His steering and car control and trail braking is really good. He's hitting his lines
Yeah.
every time. He's very consistent. And then all of a sudden, like when they spin out, like he does that on purpose. You watch him jerk the steering, understeer, jerk, jerk, jerk until it snaps. And he always points it towards curbs that even the most crappy rookies usually just completely avoid. They would rather go wide than go over slow and go early into the corner. And so you can definitely see that he was a good enough driver who understood that it would be he would have plausible deniability if all he was doing was acting like an inexperienced driver, where you brake really early in the braking zone and you way over slow by the apex and you kind of park everybody at the apex, and then obviously now they're all slow and you're on throttle and you tear away from them. And yeah,
Right.
you saw that perfectly. He did that for 4 hours off and
Okay.
on of just parking people.
Is is the like general consensus, is it kind of that I'm trying to wrap my head around what you guys that actually did this race and people that were in other splits, does it is it piss does it piss you off more that this guy is trying to claim that he was hacked, or is the problem what he actually did, or is it a combination of both?
Yeah, that was
Like
my question
I'm
too. Was like, how did you feel about their like response letter, I guess, to it?
Yeah, because I'm mad from the outside just for this guy trolling such a big event. Like to me, it pisses me off to see somebody skillfully trolling a
Yeah.
24-hour race. Like that's
Yes.
rough. In our like Class C like 30 lap runs at Darlington or something, like you get mad and take somebody out, but then you're both out of the race, and we go,
Right.
GG go next. But this is
Right.
like, a big, to me, it's like, it's a big event. Like people spend a lot of time trying to get ready for this at all skill levels. So tell us what you feel like the bigger problem here is.
Okay, hopefully I don't go too long on that because that's a big can of worms. I will preface everything by saying, given that we didn't get taken out, I don't want to speak for anybody who did because I can't. I've been lucky enough. This was our fourth endurance race in our first 24. And we haven't been wrecked out of any of them. We've been able to finish everything, and this was the first we didn't get into a top 10, but that was our own fault. And driving up 36 spots, we were pretty stoked after all the drama to finish as high as we did and complete it. So I can't.
Yeah,
I will
congrats.
never
That's
know what it. Oh, thank you very much. I'll never know what it feels like for that Porsche that was leading for the first 4 hours. That dude was insanely. That team was insanely good. And I'm sure they're beside themselves about it. I'd be
yeah, I'm
still
sure they're
a
steaming.
week later as it is. Yeah, for sure. Um, but with that being said, I do feel really passionate about it, like you guys, because I feel like the crux of the issue is iRacing. They get us all into this, and their marketing is based on that. This is, for all of us guys that'll never get into a NASCAR Cup car or a
Exactly.
GT3 or a hypercar, the physics are so close enough, and the competition is so good enough when you've got freaking. I was watching Carson host of our stream trucks last night. That was a riot. Like Max
Yeah.
Verstappen does this when COVID was going on. All the guys were on, NASCAR guys, Formula One guys.
Yeah.
So when they've built this whole community around, you can be a real race car driver, but then their moderation basically shows that it's no better than playing F125, where public lobby guys will come driving, 900 miles an hour into a braking zone so they can take out as many cars as they can just because they think it's funny.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people have debated whether, how bad things are in iRacing, and there's a lot of debate to be had. But this was like the first really clear thing that's happened since I started sim racing seriously, where it's like we've got a crossroads here because to answer your direct question, I think they could have avoided a lot of backlash had they just come out and said, you know what, we're young guys. Our race was over before even the green got thrown, just because our car body got screwed up by damage enough that we couldn't keep pace with the leaders to start, and we
Yeah.
progressively crashed, and so then we had a generational crash out, and we took a bunch of you guys out, and we're really appalled at our own behavior. And it could have been bullshit. They could have made the whole thing up, had ChatGPT write it and not meant a word of it. But had they said that and just taken like even fake ownership, I think a lot of people, I think that we wouldn't be talking about this right now, and iRacing wouldn't have had to make a statement, and you might not have seen streamers make a statement because it would have just been a couple of Reddit posts and, oh, look at what these guys did.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that, like we were talking about with your guys' last question, whether they were 17 or not, whatever their ages were, if you're that good of a driver that you control this effectively, and you understand that this is an event that people invest time and money into and take time off work in some cases and all that,
Yeah.
and this is how far off your moral compass is, I feel like it doesn't matter whether it's a video game or not. iRacing wants us to treat it like it's not. A lot of us treat it like it's not. And the
Yeah.
reason the racing is good when it's good is because we treat it like it's real life. And
Yeah.
so I think it scares us all to be a little bit vulnerable for a second. I think it scares the shit out of all of us to think that we can invest all this time and money into our equipment, into our racecraft. Like, I get coaching, I spend money on that because, I mean, this is my life, this is my
Yeah.
hobby. We spend all this time on it, and you're telling me some kids can come in and do what they did, or even if it was adults, it wouldn't really change anything. And
Not
then
for
it,
me.
it begs the question of why would I want to invest my time in this? And I was really surprised that iRacing didn't. I mean, it seems like now, with the statement they put out today, obviously they took it somewhat seriously. But if I worked there, I would have been freaking out, going, "Oh God, people are going to think that they can't rely on the safety of our sim, and they're going to flock somewhere
And
else."
it's funny that you say that because it's exactly what Wes said when we initially reviewed it. Is that like
Yeah,
you kind of got
he
to
did.
police your own and like protect the integrity of the game, I guess, sim, whatever you want to call it. I was going to ask you
Yeah.
like, how did you feel that the iRacing statement was like? Did it help any at all through all this? Do you think?
What I posted in the comments on it was that I felt mixed in that to say the negative part first, I don't think they would have made that statement had we all not been talking about this for a week. And especially with it being split 22 out of like 50, we're talking about the midfield of the event here. And it matters enough to people that we've talked about it for a week. And so they felt they needed to make a statement. But that being said, we need to give credit where credit's due, especially given our complaint is that they don't do things like this. I don't think they could have done more. You don't. It's not a good look if they would have humiliated them with their language. Gone really, really emphatic and embellished. That they were beneath some level and all. You can very easily, in a politically correct way, disparage people, and if they would have done that, that would have been a bad look, and I don't think would have solved anything. And I do know some people, were hoping that they would get when I say real world consequences, I literally just mean if they have real world team and sponsors, somebody needed to bitch them out. That's it. I don't need their
Yeah.
lives ruined if they're young. I'm not one calling for that. That's a bit much. When yes, at the end of the day, it is a video game. But if you drive in real life, and this would have financial repercussion in real life if you were to drive a car like this, and this is what you're willing to do because you're having a tantrum, someone at least needs to say, "Hey, we don't like that." So I do think the iRacing statement at the end of the day was good. I think it's the max they could have put out that didn't make them look some type of way. And it does also give them a little bit of ammo to say, see, we do something when
We
it's
do
really, really
care.
bad. It might just be that what you think is bad isn't as bad to an objective point of view.
Right.
In this case, it was clear to everybody.
I made the comparison earlier this week that we took the Carson Hocevar saying that Mexico City was like a
Yeah,
shithole or
that
whatever
was
he
some
said.
controversy.
You know, and this is not the same situation. That was probably just uncalled for what he said. But like
Right.
we're big Roger Carruth fans, and so
Hey, me too.
the comparison, another one we made was like, what if Raja had came into like a big NCIS or a big NASCAR race in or like the Firecracker 400, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like, what if he had came in one of them races and like skillfully trolled the whole race like this? Like, you think like his Mr. H gets wind of that and doesn't
Oh, I
like,
know.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
let's put some other people that could have done something like this at a different genre of racing. Like, they, I guarantee you, Roger's capable of doing some nasty stuff like this on a NASCAR setting, but uh, he don't, because that would be the stupidest thing ever for him and his sponsorships and
Oh,
his
yeah.
career. That was how I felt about that as far as like being a real life driver. Like, yeah, it probably wouldn't be a big deal if it was me, some nobody that
Yeah, me
is
too,
kind of
baby.
fast sometimes. If I did this, I guarantee I couldn't do near as good of a job as this guy did
I
trolling.
know.
Uh, but if it's somebody that's tied to a real life team, like that's part of what made me mad initially finding out that he drives in real life is that coming to our sim and shitting on us at the highest level we're capable of is such a
Right.
punching down is so cringe for a
Yeah.
lack of
You
better
know, I
word.
hadn't I hadn't thought of putting it that way, but that's a really good way of putting it. And I think that is what got people so heated is like, you know, in a certain sense, had it been super obvious that these were just three idiots that were like barely qualified, got their license up in time, started their account 6 weeks ago type of deal. Like,
Yeah.
it would have sucked, but I think it would have also been like, man, we really got the bad luck split. But when it was like, I think that's what people were suspecting. If I was gonna just make an assumption off of like just what's likely, when the chat first started blowing up and people were looking for who they were, I think it was to figure exactly that out. It's like, is this just, are we just stuck with the morons and it's bad luck, or is this somebody up to no good? And the minute that they found out that this was someone who supposedly drives in real life, then all of a sudden it was like, now you're scrutinizing their behavior, and now you realize, oh
Yeah.
wow, no, these are good drivers who are very skillfully trolling it and succeeding. And for why? Why?
Yeah,
And
exactly,
I agree
man.
with what you said about, your Raja comparison, because I mean, Kyle Busch, left, was fired from Hendrick and early in his career, for going too far. And that's Kyle Busch, whose, nickname is Rowdy and is
Yeah.
known for being a dick. And, he took it too far with some of his actions. And Mr. H said, hey, that's too much for me. So,
Yeah.
it's, if
Yeah, and this
anybody
guy,
wants to argue that there aren't real world consequences for acting like a jackass when you're a real world driver, then I think there's a lot of evidence to the contrary.
yeah, and this guy
Right.
drives for Polo Racing. I mean, your boss just won the
Yeah,
Indianapolis
Alex Palou.
500, and so
Yes.
let's calm down.
Arguably the greatest IndyCar driver of right now. We'll see what the history books say about the forever part, but Alex is the one dominating the last 3 years.
we got about
And you drive for him?
yeah, and then you come out and do this. It's definitely a bad look. We'll see what real world consequences come of it. We got about 5 minutes left. Unless you got anything else?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, what do you guys got for me? Anything?
I think we extracted all the
I know.
goodies.
I feel like we crushed through that. You guys are, you guys are pro at this already.
Well, we'll give you
Appreciate it.
a platform, man. Yeah, we definitely appreciate you taking the time and coming on. Plug whatever
Appreciate you
you
having
want,
me.
man. Anything you need to plug, plug it. Shameless plug.
Oh, I don't have a ton. If you want to check out the team, it's at Piovra Motorsport on Instagram. That's Piovra. We're like 8 or 9 drivers right now. So if you're kind of intermediate and you don't want to do the whole aggro esports endurance thing, but you don't want to like drive on a suck team of people who don't care about trying to complete the race, you can find me and find my Discord and come drive with us. Otherwise, just at Kraken00ch on all the socials. I like to post memes and my race stuff and all that. So hopefully we'll start streaming our events here sometime soon. All the guys have been putting their money into their rigs to get those. It's amazing what you find out is wrong with your gear when you get into the thick of these events.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been getting our gear on point, and then we'll start streaming soon. But that's pretty much it. I'm not trying to elevate myself to some huge level. It's just nice to have people checking in on what our team is doing.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when it catches the outside attention of people who know nothing about this style of racing. That it's big enough that we have to talk about it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, in fact, I loved, in closing, I was glad we got connected up, because I went to my girlfriend. I was like, babe, the NASCAR guys are talking about this. And like, we got into racing through NASCAR. So NASCAR is our home base. And so she was like, what? They're talking about this in Oval? This has gone huge. Like, so it's been a whole thing.
But when we drop the
thanks
video,
for
I'll
having me.
let.
I
Oh
appreciate it.
no, dude, we really appreciate it. It's one thing to watch the videos and like guess what happened, but to have somebody that was actually in the race and can give you like real time data on what happened. And actually, and we appreciate you taking the time to put all the clips together for your YouTube video, man. I think
No
when people
problem.
see it, it's gonna be eye opening for a lot of people that don't know anything about this type of racing, and even the ones that do. And
Yeah, it's that's why I left it just, I sped up the pit stops and all that, but I tried really hard not to like put some graphics and stuff on. It's like, let's just put the clips and let people choose what they want to think about it. So I
yeah,
appreciate all your nice
and
comments, guys.
I'll let you know whenever I post the video, and you can go into the comment section and tag all your stuff, and your video will be tagged in it as well.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I'll share you guys up, and I'm glad we connected. I'll make sure to keep reposting all your podcasts. So you guys talk about good topics. I like it.
Yeah, we're passionate, but also mildly educated, so it's a good time.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. It's entertaining.
unfortunately for America, they don't do background checks for microphones, so they get to hear us talk about some dumb shit every week.
I love it. We're racers. We're always talking about some dumb shit.
Right. So, man, once again, appreciate you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much.
We'll keep in touch, buddy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, perfect. You guys take care.
All right, man.
All
Thanks.
right, later, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Hell yeah.
Holy fuck.